Hello and welcome to Workers' Comp Unwrapped, the podcast that simplifies workers' compensation for physicians. So, let's get started. Welcome to Season 3, Workers' Comp Unwrapped, with Anique, your host, and Angela, our guest who brings 15 years of industry experience. Today, we're talking about overcoming utilization review, UR denials, in 2025.
That's right. We're going to explore how you can craft effective requests for authorization, RFAs, and importantly, how to appeal those UR denials to actually secure approvals.
Because let's be honest, UR denials, they are probably the single most painful administrative headache for providers here in California, wouldn't you say?
Oh, absolutely. You know the drill, right? You spend all that time writing the request for authorization, you gather all the clinical notes, send it off.
And then you wait the 5 business days.
Exactly. And bam, you get that denial letter. It just stops treatment cold, runs up your staff's time, and let's face it, means revenue is just leaking away.
We definitely hear that frustration. I mean, even now, in 2025, UR denials still halt necessary treatment. They still hit the bottom line, even when you think you've said everything they need.
But here's the thing, and this is what we want to focus on today. Most of these denials, they're actually avoidable.
Avoidable. Okay, I'm listening. That sounds like a shortcut.
It kind of is. If you understand the current landscape, the new rules, and you adopt a really solid, almost bulletproof approach to your RFAs and your appeals.
So the mission for this deep dive is basically giving providers a clear roadmap, how to get those approvals this year.
That's the goal, a strategic guide.
Okay, let's unpack this then. Maybe we should start with, the current state of play, the regulatory background.
Sure. So we all know the California UR system. It's rooted way back in Labor Code, Section 4610.
Yeah.
The idea was, to ensure medical necessity, make things consistent.
Right, using the medical treatment utilization schedule, the MTUS guidelines. That was the intention.
The intention, yes. But in practice, as you know, it often just turns into this mountain of paperwork and frustrating delays for everyone involved. Patient care suffers.
But things have changed a bit recently, haven't they? I hear the DWC, the Division of Workers' Comp, they've made some tweaks for 2025.
They have, yeah, and it seems like they've been listening, at least somewhat, to the complaints about things being too vague or inconsistent. These changes, they really do alter the strategy you need to use.
Okay, so walk us through the key shifts. What are the big regulatory changes we need to know about right now?
Okay, first up, submission methods. The proposed rule updates now officially allow for electronic RFA submission using EDI.
Ah, finally. So we can ditch the fax machine.
Oh, hold on. Critically, it's only by agreement between the provider and the claims administrator.
Oh, okay. So it's not a statewide mandate for everyone to use one ERFA system then?
Not yet, no. It's still a bit fragmented. But look, the door is definitely opening for digital submission, which is progress, even if it's slow progress.
Yeah.
You need to check if your claims partners are on board.
Got it. Progress, but piecemeal.
Right.
What else? You mentioned something really interesting earlier.
Yes. And this, I think, is the game changer. It really shifts the power dynamic a bit back towards the provider. UR reviewers must now cite the specific MTUS section they use to deny your request.
Wait, say that again. They have to cite the specific guideline section?
That's the rule. No more hiding behind that vague stuff like lacks medical necessity or not supported by guidelines. They have to point to the specific sentence or subsection in the MTUS.
Wow. Okay, let's dig into that because doesn't that completely change things?
Yeah.
I mean, they're essentially telling you exactly where they think your RFA fell short.
Absolutely. Think about it. That denial letter, it's no longer just this frustrating brick wall. It's actually like a window into the reviewer's thinking. That citation, that specific MTUS section they quote, that becomes your weapon, your roadmap for the appeal.
Okay, that is significant. What about timelines? Have those changed?
Mm-hmm.
Still the same race against the clock?
Timelines are holding steady for now. Expedited reviews, the urgent ones, still need a decision within 72 hours. And the standard prospective reviews, the non-urgent ones, that's still 5 business days from when they receive the complete RFA. So the clock hasn't changed, but the level of detail required in the denial certainly has.
Which I guess brings us nicely to Section 2, the strategy for crafting that bulletproof RFA you mentioned.
Exactly. If you want to avoid getting that denial in the first place, your RFA needs to be rock solid. It has to tell a complete story right from the start.
And you're saying it needs to proactively connect the treatment you're asking for directly to those MTUS criteria, like spell it out for them.
You absolutely have to. You basically have to do the reviewer's job for them. Assume they have a checklist, probably derived right from the MTUS. If your RFA doesn't clearly tick off those boxes with the evidence right there.
Gets flagged for denial.
Precisely. So we've boiled it down to what we see as the 5 essential elements, the things that RFAs that sail through approval almost always have.
Okay, lay them out for us. Element 1. Where do providers often stumble right out of the gate?
It's vagueness. It often starts right with the diagnosis code. Element 1 is specific diagnosis codes. You must list clear, specific ICD-10 codes.
Not just back pain or shoulder injury.
Absolutely not. If you use a really broad code or just write a general description, you're basically inviting them to question it. The diagnosis needs to be precise, and it needs to logically match the indications for the treatment you're requesting according to MTUS.
Okay, specific ICD-10s. Got it. Element 2, clinical proof.
Right, clinical justification. And the key word here is quantifiable. Forget just describing things anecdotally. The reviewer needs objective findings.
Meaning numbers. Measurable stuff.
Exactly. Specific range of motion limits measured in degrees. Quantified strength deficits, like 45 strength in a specific muscle group. If it's an MRI result, mention the specific size of the disc herniation. Documented changes on a validated pain scale, not just patient feels better. If you can't measure it, it often doesn't count in their eyes.
Makes sense. Hard data is harder to argue with. Okay, element 3 deals with what's already been tried.
Yes, prior treatment history. This is so crucial because MTUS, and ODG for that matter, often define medical necessity based on the failure of more conservative treatments first.
So you have to show you've exhausted other options.
You have to explicitly document what you've tried. Physical therapy, maybe anti-inflammatories, injections, different modalities, whatever it was. And critically, you need to explain why that treatment didn't work or was insufficient for this specific patient. If you don't document that exhaustion clearly, they'll often deny the next step.
Okay, document failures too. And element 4, this sounds like the direct link you were talking about.
It is. MTUS-ODG reference. You have to cite the exact section of the guideline that supports your request. Don't make the reviewer go digging for it.
So if you want, say, physical therapy after surgery.
You find the MTUS section on postoperative PT, cite that specific subsection, maybe C.1b, whatever it is, and briefly explain how your patient meets the criteria listed right there. You're handing them the justification on a silver platter, citing their own rulebook.
Makes their job easier, makes approval more likely.
Yeah.
Okay, final element, element 5. What's the common mistake when stating the goal of the treatment?
Measurable goals. This trips a lot of people up. Reviewers and the guidelines are focused on function, not just making someone feel comfortable. The goal of the treatment cannot simply be reduced pain.
Even though that's what the patient wants.
Of course. But for our purposes, the goal has to define how the treatment will improve the patient's ability to function, ideally related to work tasks. For instance, instead of less back pain, try something like patient will increase ability to lift 10 pounds from floor to waist level to allow return to their previous stocking duties.
Ah, okay. That completely reframes it. It shifts from a subjective complaint to an objective, measurable, return-to-work focused outcome.
Exactly. That's what they're looking for. And, just a practical tip to tie this all together. Use those new electronic RFA templates that California released.
The DWC forms.
Yeah. They're designed to prompt you for all this required information. They have fields for the diagnosis codes, the MTUS citation, functional goals. Using them can dramatically cut down on those annoying initial rejections that just say, RFA incomplete. Saves a ton of back and forth.
Good tip. Okay, so let's shift gears. Let's imagine you did all that. You crafted this beautiful, perfectly cited 5-element RFA, and they still deny it, which, let's be real, it still happens.
It does, unfortunately.
So denial letter lands on your desk. What's the immediate, absolutely critical first step in the appeal process?
Okay, deep breath first. Then act fast, but act smart. Step 1 is simple. Read the denial letter very, very carefully.
Looking for
2 key things required by that new law we mentioned. The reviewer's credentials, are they a physician, a specialist? And crucially, that specific MTUS section they use to justify the denial.
Right, the citation again.
That citation is everything. It's your appeal roadmap. It tells you exactly what piece of data or justification the reviewer believed was missing or inadequate in your RFA.
Okay, so you've analyzed the denial, you found their reasoning, their cited MTUS section. What are the official routes now to fight back and overturn that decision?
You basically have 2 main options, and timing is absolutely critical for one of them. The primary route for challenging a UR denial on medical necessity grounds is independent medical review, or IMR.
IMR.
And here's the kicker. You have a hard deadline. It's 30 calendar days from the date you received the UR denial determination to get that IMR application filed.
30 days. That's not a lot of time, especially with mail delays, internal office routing.
It flies by. Seriously, you cannot let that denial sit on someone's desk. That's option 1, IMR. Option 2 is you could potentially just resubmit a new RFA for the same treatment.
But didn't that just get denied?
Right. This only really makes sense if something significant has changed clinically since the denial. Did the patient's condition worsen in a specific way? Did a new test result come back that directly addresses the reason for the denial? If the clinical picture and the evidence are identical to the first RFA, resubmitting is usually pointless. You need to go the IMR route.
Okay, so IMR is usually the path if the facts haven't changed.
Huh?
Now, IMR, historically, that process had a bit of a reputation, didn't it? Kind of a black hole, slow, maybe arbitrary.
It definitely did. Providers were incredibly frustrated. But I have to say, things have gotten significantly better. It's far more transparent and efficient now than it used to be.
How so? What's changed?
Well, a big thing was the 2024 update to the IMR vendor system, Maximus. They rolled out this IMR document exchange portal. It basically streamlines how providers and claims administrators submit all the relevant medical records electronically.
So faster document submission, less paper shuffling.
Exactly, and it seems to be working. The DWC itself is reporting that IMR decisions are now averaging only about 9 to 10 days after Maximus confirms they have all the complete records needed.
9 to 10 days. That's a huge improvement from what it used to be. That's actually manageable.
It is. It means patients and providers get answers much faster, which is the whole point.
And while we're talking process and efficiency, let's touch on costs. Because fighting denials takes time and resources. Who actually pays for this IMR process? Is the provider on the hook financially?
That's a really important clarification. If the IMR overturns the UR denial and finds the treatment medically necessary, the claims administrator must authorize that treatment. And critically, the costs associated with the IMR process itself are borne by the employer or the insurer, not the provider.
Okay, so the provider doesn't pay for the IMR appeal itself.
Correct. Now, there's often confusion because providers hear about a $195 fee. That fee applies to independent bill review, or IBR. That's a totally separate process for disputing the amount paid on a bill.
Ah, okay. IBR is for payment amount disputes. IMR is for medical necessity disputes.
Exactly. For UR denials and IMR appeals challenging medical necessity, the provider does not pay that fee. Knowing that distinction is really crucial financially.
That is a very important gotcha cleared up. Thanks. Okay, let's make this real. Can you walk us through a recent concrete example? A scenario where understanding these rules and strategies actually beat a denial.
Sure, absolutely. Had a situation recently, pretty common one. Provider requested a lumbar MRI for a worker whose symptoms were getting progressively worse. Seemed like a standard request.
And UR denied it.
Yep, UR denied it. And the reason given was that classic vague statement, no objective findings documented.
The exact kind of denial we're trying to avoid by making the RFA bulletproof in the first place.
Exactly. So the provider, correctly, decided to file for IMR. But here's the key. They didn't just blindly resend the original RFA packet.
What did they do differently?
They included updated clinical notes from a very recent exam, and these notes specifically documented new objective signs that had developed since the initial RFA. Things like a positive straight leg raise test, clearly documented, and a measurable strength deficit in one leg, like a 45 rating.
So new, quantifiable, objective evidence addressing the denial reason head on.
Precisely. And then the strategic part. They didn't just send the notes. In their IMR argument, they specifically cited MTUS spine disorders, Section A, subsection 3.
And what does that subsection say?
Well, that specific part of the guideline details exactly when advanced imaging, like an MRI, is considered medically necessary based on the presence of objective neurological findings, like radicular pain or strength loss.
So they pointed right to the rule that their new evidence satisfied.
Bang on. Because the provider directly countered the reviewer's stated reason, no objective findings, with new specific objective data, and they cited the exact MTUS rule that this data triggered. IMR reversed the denial.
And how long did that take?
The MRI was authorized within about 2 weeks of the IMR filing.
Wow. That really shows the power of not just appealing, but appealing strategically by targeting the evidence directly at the denial reason and the specific MTUS citation.
It really does. And, if we connect us back to the bigger picture, What does this tell us? It suggests that most UR denials aren't necessarily personal or even always a disagreement about the medicine itself. They're often procedural.
Meaning the denial happens because the reviewer didn't see the required piece of information presented in the right way, linked to the right rule.
Exactly. They're following their checklist, their interpretation of MTUS. If you understand that procedure, if you proactively cite the MTUS in your RFA, and if you respond specifically to their cited reason when you appeal a denial, you dramatically increase your chances of winning. It's about playing the game by their rules, but playing it smarter.
Okay, that's a great way to think about it. If you had to give our listeners, the three most crucial actionable takeaways from our discussion today, what would they be?
All right, 3 key things to nail down for your success in 2025. 1, write your RFAs proactively. Explicitly connect the patient's diagnosis and the treatment you're requesting directly to the specific criteria in the MTUS guidelines. Cite the section, do the work for them.
Okay, proactive citation. Number 2.
Number 2, use the tools available. Use complete electronic forms like the DWC's RFA templates whenever possible. Double-check those ICD-10 codes for specificity. This helps you avoid those simple, frustrating procedural rejections for incomplete information.
Use the right forms, be precise. And number 3.
Number 3, if you do get denied, appeal fast. Remember that 30-day IMR clock. But appeal smart. Be fact-based, analyze the denial, find their MTUS citation, and use that citation as the target for your appeal evidence. Don't just resend everything.
Excellent summary. Be proactive, be precise, and be strategic in your appeals, using their own reasoning against them.
That's the core of it.
Reframing it, it sounds like the goal isn't really to fight or argue with UR reviewers. It's more about strategic communication, isn't it? Helping them easily see why the requested treatment meets the established rules so the patient gets the care and the provider gets paid without a massive headache.
That's a perfect way to put it. It's about clear, cited communication within the system's rules. And look, I want to leave you, the listener, with one final thought to chew on.
Okay, give us something provocative.
Since reviewers must now cite a specific MTUS section when they deny a request, ask yourself this the next time you get a denial. What does the specific section they chose to cite tell you? What specific evidence gap are they signaling they perceived in your documentation?
That's a really powerful question. It turns the denial into intel.
It absolutely does. Use that specific citation like a laser beam to focus your appeal documentation. Don't just throw the kitchen sink at them by resending the entire chart. Are you truly customizing your appeal based on their cited reason, or are you just sending a generic appeal packet? That focus, that specific targeting, that's often the difference between getting that denial overturned or not.
Really good food for thought, turning the requirement into your advantage. Thank you so much for walking us through this sometimes treacherous landscape. Really valuable insights.
It was my pleasure. Happy to help navigate it.
All right, everyone, stay smart, stay strategic, and keep those RFAs tight and cited. We'll catch you next time on The Deep Dive. Thanks for listening to Workers' Comp Unwrapped. If you found value in today's episode, subscribe and share with fellow doctors. Stay informed and keep making a difference in your patient's care.